Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending this webinar on crime prevention, but more specifically, theft prevention within the New West End Company footprint and the wider West End. So today, I'm joined by Dave Hunt, who is the Town Centre Team Lead Inspector from the Metropolitan Police. I'm also joined by Alan Diaz, who is a police sergeant who focuses on theft prevention and shoplifting. So look, it's no secret that theft from person, shoplifting, robbery, and even burglary have unfortunately been commonplace within the West End recently. With this in mind, Enwick wanted to ensure that all retailers in the district were well informed on the updated advice and resources available on how to tackle crimes of this nature. We'll also, during this webinar, we'll also have a Q&A as well. Could you go to the next slide, please? So the first thing here is shoplifting. So when it comes to shoplifting, this is one of the most common types of theft incidents that we see within the bid, due to the nature of businesses and the work that the businesses do. So according to the ONS, shoplifting in England and Wales has increased to a 20-year high, over 400,000 offences during the year ending March 2024. This is a bit of a 30% increase on the last 12 months. So robbery, where the threat of violence is used during the theft, will naturally follow that increase. The government announced plans to introduce tougher punishments for serial abusive shoplifters in England and Wales under a new standalone criminal offence of assaulting a retail worker. The Criminal Justice Bill is now going through the Commons, and it's being put in place, and hopefully this will serve as a good deterrent in the future. I think we appreciate that some stores in the district can be more impacted by theft than others. If you need any further support, or your store has had serious issues with theft, please reach out to us directly. The next slide here is a delivery van theft. So not everyone knows this, but unfortunately there has been we have seen so what we've referred to as van dragging, and this is something which is sort of prominent among the higher end retailers. What happens is that a delivery van will be unloading a certain amount of goods to the store, and then what happens is that if those goods are left unattended, people, the main tactic has been coming by on a line bike. I put a picture there of one of the one of the people that we've picked up, who's been a known offender, and essentially the method of theft is just going on a line bike, getting the boxes, and then sort of just taking them away. And yeah, we strongly urge retailers to just keep an eye out for this sort of crime tactic. Next slide, please, Z. So theft from person. So luxury thefts in London rose by 22%. So nearly 10,000 stolen items, including Rolex watches, Louis Vuitton bags. Snatch thefts in England and Wales increased by 151%, from 31,000 to 78,000 incidents. This is mainly driven by demand for secondhand phones. Not many of these incidents have led to convictions, unfortunately. But in Westminster, this saw the most cases, where there were 1,500 incidents. 2 police operations resulted in 27 arrests and 21 convictions and 26 years in prison collectively. The government aims to address crimes through its Safer Streets mission to improve public safety. Pickpocketing and phone thefts are common in our district, whilst thefts more impact. So while watch thefts impact mainly sort of nighttime economy, like bars and hotels and restaurants. Next slide, Izzy, please. So burglary. So during 2024, England and Wales police forces have recorded about 200,000 crime reports about burglary. This is a decrease of 7%, which is good, from the 2023 figure. Given an overall crime rate of 4 for every 1,000 people in 2024. So early this year, during in the district, we experienced a series of smash and grab incidents where stores were forcefully broken into, using heavy objects to gain access, and goods were looted. Between January the 14th and the 21st, the estimated losses for these incidents totaled around £47,000, excluding the cost of damaged windows and storefronts. Whilst we haven't seen a repeat of this trend since January, it's crucial that stores remain vigilant and take up necessary precautions to prevent further incidents of this kind. And I should stress that these kind of burglary incidents are quite rare. Next slide, Izzy, please. Thanks so much. So what can we do to support? Now that we've kind of discussed the various types of offences within the district, how can the NWIC security team support? So as discussed, we do have a 24/7 security team offering underground support, usually attending stores within minutes. We also have dog handlers for extra support depending on the severity of the incident. We also know that 50% of all shoplifting offences are carried out by the same individuals. This means that tackling and documenting of repeat offenders is vital when attempting to get these people off the street. We use the support of Safer Business Network and Mighty Intelligence Hub to create intel documents to support prosecutions of repeat offenders. Shoplifting organizations like the Spice Girls and the Boxing Club Kids are well known to us, and we also have monthly intel meetings which provide updates on these offenders. There is actually one tomorrow, so if you are not already signed up, then please let me know and I'll send over an invitation. We also have a WhatsApp group with over 300 members across the district. This is mainly used to spread awareness and to track individuals when they come into the area. If you want to be added to this, also let me know. Any sort of mass looting events or any incidents that are taking place within the district, we usually put this information out through our sort of alert media channels and HubSpot. So we send out alerts throughout the whole district, just so if there's any incidents that happen, we're able to keep everyone in the loop on that. If something happens overnight, we usually reach out to the security of the store, or we reach out to the store owners or the property owners just to keep them just to make sure that they know what's happened. We also have a KPI where we have to return stock within 24 hours, and this usually happens. If one of our officers sees someone with stolen goods, we usually return the stock as soon as possible. We have a radio network as well. So a lot of retailers within the district have radios, and that's a really surefire way of communicating within the district. There is also a bespoke shoplifting document that we created several months ago, which gives retailers advice about the different tactics of shoplifting and how these sort of criminal organizations work. So if you're interested in having any of these or taking part of it in any of these initiatives, please reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to provide that. Just next slide, Izzy, please. So what can retailers do to prevent theft incidents? One of the easiest ways of doing that is increase security in manned guarding and surveillance. If you ensure that security is in place when unloading goods. So if you have, as I mentioned before, there are a lot of sort of van dragging incidents that we have seen. If you have a security guard who starts quite early in the morning, who can be there and just be sort of on call if something does happen. So technology as well, RFID tracking and tamper-proof alarms on valuable goods to encourage anti-theft systems for mobile phones and other high demand items. Training. One of the things that have been really effective when dealing with things like pickpocketers and dealing with sort of shoplifting is having staff training. So if whether you have security or not, it's always important to ensure that the staff are knowledgeable about someone leaving their bag unattended or leaving their phone unattended. It always helps to sort of raise that level of awareness. Smoke machines. So some of you may not know, but There is something called a smoke machine, and if you consider sort of installing this sort of smoke machine in your store, these devices are designed to rapidly fill a space with dense, harmless smoke. When a break-in or theft attempt is detected, the smoke disorientates and blinds intruders, making it nearly impossible for them to see or locate valuable items, effectively halting crime in that progress. So yeah, very good sort of consideration in that regard. Secure your premises overnight. This sounds quite obvious, but you'd be surprised the amount of times that we have seen premises that haven't been secured effectively overnight. So just procedurally ensure that your store is secure. Police collaboration. So join local business networks and share intelligence and reports. Any incidents very quickly. Stay in contact with the Metropolitan Police and participate in neighbourhood crime prevention initiatives. And this includes kind of providing as much information to the police as possible. The police can only work off what is provided to them, so just ensure that that communication goes through. Engaging with customers. So yeah, it goes back to what I was saying regarding training staff. The more we engage with our customers and let them know that there are threats out there, and just be mindful of their belongings, then that's something that can really help. And the last one here is just reporting any sort of suspicious behaviour. This could be hostile reconnaissance, which is something that our team are able to support with. So if you see somebody and they're acting suspiciously, just call a member of our team, and we're more than happy to support with that. That's everything from my end. I will now hand over to Dave Hunt, who is the West End Town Centre Team Inspector. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, Akin. Yeah, morning all. Just a brief bit about myself. I'm Inspector Dave Hunt. I've been working at Westminster or down at Charing Cross now for just over a year. I've got 25 years in the police, and I've worked all over London before coming to Westminster. Next slide, please. What we recognised, I've been there for a year just over a year at Charing Cross. We recognised we didn't have enough support for you guys and our partners MWEC and the other bids during the day. The way our teams were formulated was we had a lot of officers on night for the West End nightlife, but we didn't have enough officers during the day. And hopefully you've seen a difference already in the past 2 weeks. So on the 2nd of September, we reformed the teams. Where we had 5 teams before predominantly doing nights, we've now got 6 teams concentrating. We're only concentrating on 3 night duties of the week now, which gives us more capability to have officers deployed into your area during the day. So what we've called it, we've got 3 town centre teams, which I lead on, and we've got 3 West End patrol teams, which will support us and any other wider problems in the West End. The town centre teams have been formed to work closely with our partners such as MWEC and the Safer Business Network and any other bids in the area, and concentrate on that small, well, it's quite a large area, but it looks small on that map that you can see on the slide in front of you. The whole point of it is to work closely with our partners to deal with some of the issues you've got in the West End. What's the next slide, please, Izzy? I think I've already sort of gone through that, which is giving us the time to work with you in the West End. And what's the next one is? So some of the work we are doing, we will do joint patrols with MWEC staff, as you can see in the image there. We are doing lots of, hopefully you've seen activity for the past couple of days. I've got plainclothes officers deployed out on Oxford Street this morning and yesterday and the day before, targeting some of the crimes that we've already discussed this morning. My teams will pick up investigations into link series and repeat offenders. So we've already we've only started 2 weeks. We've already dealt with the van draggers job that Akins mentioned, where we've had a couple of arrests for that, and the investigation's ongoing. When I say repeat offenders, this is so we've got one guy who'd been committing repeated offences against the same venue, but not at the same company, but different venues. Across Oxford Street, Regent Street, and also across the wider London. We arrested him yesterday and charged him last night, sort of hot off the press, for over 30 different offences against the same company. So that's some of the things my team are working on. We're actively targeting, as I mentioned, we've got lots of officers deployed into your area today. We've seen an increase. You probably saw that guy on the social media waving around the large knife, riding an electric bike just off of Westminster patch into Camden the other day. We're out there targeting those electric bike thieves that are riding down Oxford Street and Regent Street and just snatching people's phones out of their hands. So lots of bits and pieces like that we're working on. Some of you may have seen Oxford Circus the other day. We had the live facial recognition van, and I was responsible for that operation on Tuesday. So more activity like that I'm trying to get into the West End, and that bit of kit was brilliant. We were there for about 4 hours, and we had the kit identifies 3 wanted offenders. That none of them were from this area, but they're all in central London, probably to commit crime. But the cameras picked them up, and we were able to arrest them and get them off the streets. Some further work we are doing with MWEC and Safer Business Partnership is we've got National Safer Business Week coming up on the 14th of October. So if any of you want to do any joint work, have my officers visit the store or anything like that, please reach out to me or Akin through MWEC, and we can arrange some joint activities that week. What's the next slide, please, Izzy? So there's a few slides coming up now, which are all they're all based on data, and it shows you some of the crime stats in and around your area. Obviously, this isn't solely focused on MWEC area, but more across the West End ward. And as you can see, Oxford Street features highly for robbery, while the other areas don't really impact the MWEC. They're more nighttime economy based, which is down towards the Holber bid there, isn't it, Akin? The next slide, please. Again, stats. This is for the whole West End ward, not just your area. But as you can see, personal robbery and theft person and it features very highly there in and around the West End. The theft person would also incorporate the no, that would be just theft. The shoplifting offences aren't unfortunately specified on there, but they are obviously high, the highest in the whole of the country along Oxford Street. As it happens, a theft person also affects you. I've worked with Primark. I'm not sure if anyone from Primark's on, but we've got some joint working with Primark because they suffer from a lot of their customers getting dipped in their store recently. So we're working, which I'm sure affects other stores, but probably doesn't, not on the scale of the 2 Primarks with the footfall in there. Yeah, lots of theft. People get their purses taken out of their bags whilst in the stores. And on Oxford Street. Next slide, please. Like I say, another slide with some stats showing that crime has slightly gone down. This is the theft offences in the West End. Do you know, we haven't got a reason why it's dropped so much. 400 offences is quite a drop between July and August. Be interesting to see how it compares in September, but as you can see, that middle box there, that in the 12 months overall, it's been up 15% in our area. So although we had a slight drop last month, overall it's up 15%. Quite a big increase there. Next slide, Izzy. Was that it? Oh, and robberies. So We're still seeing, as I mentioned earlier, robberies. They're predominantly at the moment these youths on electric bikes or line bikes who are using force to take people's phones. Other in the daytime, nighttime is more nighttime economy based, where we see it in Soho, which is slightly just off your patch. But during the day, it's, as you can see, the red dots are all along Oxford Street, and that's the issue affecting the MWAC area during the day times. Is that my last slide, Izzy? I'm not sure. Yeah, it is. Sorry, there's a bit of a whistle top store. As Aki said, happy to take questions at the end.
Thank you so much, Dave. We'll now move on to Alan Diaz, who's also a police sergeant in the Met Police, and yeah, take it away, Alan. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for the promotion, Akin. I'm no sergeant, but I take it if they are willing to pay me. Yeah, good morning, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm from the Business Crime Unit. It's a small unit of 6 officers. That's 2 sergeants and 4 PCs, and we cover the whole of London. And we are a liaison between the police and the businesses, very much keeping in mind the safety and the welfare of the staff. I've been in this unit for 4 years, and in the job altogether for 18 years. I'm really loving this role. Had the opportunity to meet very interesting people, opportunity to meet people that are really willing to make a change, that really have the welfare of the staff, you know, as a first priority. We came across things, you know, the unit started in 2011 after the riots, because there was not really a link between the businesses and the police as such. There was only like minimal contacts. Any shoplifting that would be dealt by the units, but that follow-up and that relationship at sort of corporate level wasn't there. So it's brilliant that the unit was created, and it's been just progressively and dynamically changing and evolving to be able to accommodate and understand the business mentality. Before I was in the job, I actually worked in retail for a bit, so I do understand from the inside how things feel. So there is a slightly passion and slightly bias, and I'll always be fighting your corner. We work in partnership, as Mr. Hunt was establishing. We work with Safer Business Network, National Business Crime Solutions. We got all the variety of people that cover London and also national. So the overview of what we have, we don't concentrate on one borough. We obviously always see the whole of London, and because we are the force of the service with most officers, we from time to time we actually look after the national business crime as well. So yeah, quite a busy unit for 6 people, but we love it, and we're really excited to work in this place. So there's been discussed all different ways of preventing crime, shoplifting, pickpocketing. The West End, as you know, is a beast on its own. You know, like you have everything happening in that borough 24 hours, you know, 7 days of the week, 365, and everything. No one day is different. Next is similar to the next. So very challenging, and we all know it. For the officers, it's very hard. It's great to see, and it's great to hear that this new initiative of the West End the Westminster to create a team now that will be there daytime, because you know it's always a priority of the night, because the nightlife is so busy and lots of the violent offences happens you know, mainly at night time. But you could understand why the priority will be on the on that night economy. However, even our unit has been actually loving behind the back, even talking to Mopac about the lack, not to the fault of the officers, but as the force in general, the lack of support for the businesses at daytime. Now you get people walking in, you know, they got gangs rushing in, steaming, taking the staff. You know, you got gangs going, organised crime going into stores, little stores, or supermarkets or local stores, and just bringing a bin, and then just throwing the stuff in there, and then no one can touch them. So that lack of the lack of initiative has been addressed. So I'm really glad that the people are seeing the benefit of incrementing and increasing the falls, or the full fall down in the daytime, which is important. For shoplifting, every business, as you know, has we all know everyone's got different policies and different protocols on how they do stuff. We always aim to tell you, depending on who's looking after the barras, we know the resources, so there's no point giving you a promise or do this and do that and then you're gonna get this, because it's not gonna work. If I know there is a barra that or a ward only got one PC and one sergeant or one PCSO, and I'm gonna say report everything and we're gonna help you out, because it just really I'm feeding false expectations and like it's not gonna work. But in places like this, where they got a big unit, we got a very good relationship with, Dave Hunt, his boss, Mr. James Johnson. Very, people that are very keen and really understand the necessity and understand, the importance of the businesses and their staff. Violence against women and girls. The retail sector, like over 65% is women and girls, and these people, they have to go home and they get threatened when they are at work. So it's like, what do we do about that? Well, we try to talk to some of the partners that we work with and say, well, is it possible to escort them, walk with them to the stations or to the bus stop or to the car, stuff like that, depending on the times of the day. So little things like that we make a change. In terms of reporting, we have encouraged massively the reporting of crime, and we have, everyone's got different ways of doing it. But it's very hugely important. The what you say when you're reporting the crime. People that work in retail, mainly in London, you develop that thick skin that a bit of abuse or whatever, or it's part of it. Parcel is, and it shouldn't be. So you need to report everything when there is a shoplifting, but someone is threatening you with a knife or with a needle. Well, that escalate things. If they're using that force or that fear to be able to enable that theft, that becomes a robbery. So let us worry about the classification and worry about the Home Office staff and fight with the crime management unit to say, well, why hasn't this been changed into a robbery, because of the robbery is quite there, and lots of reports do get turned into it. We have a conversation with the locals to say this is going to be coming at you, it's coming to you. There's going to be a massive increase on reporting, but all it does is that it just gives the police an idea of where the priorities or the problems are. When you come and then we have problems with businesses saying, oh, the police is not doing anything, or it's not following up, or it's not really progressing, and they close a report. And we have like 30 in 2 days. When we look at the stats, we haven't got nothing, or 1 or 2, because that's what's been reported. So I know that that's not the case. We all know that there's more than that happening. But if it's not reported, it's very hard for someone like Mr. Hunt to look at the daily figures and say, well, I need to send my officers to that area or to this shop because there is a problem there. So the importance of reporting is, I have to really reiterate it. Is very, very, very high. It's very important that everything is reported. I know some businesses might not have the time, or they are not paid to do statements and so on. But communicate that with us, and we can speak to your bosses. And we do it. We do speak to, as I say, at corporate level, and we get to an agreement. We have up retail. We have all different projects and that I've been piloting, and we're trying to see how it works to try to streamline and make things easier for reporting and charging and getting people in jail. But we need to work together on this. We are listening, and we're trying to get something, a tactic that really works for everyone. So a massive problem that on the West End, and we all know, is not only the shoplifting, but you get the pickpockets that come into the stores because it's a place full of tourists. Something that I say all the time is, and it works really good, mainly with pickpockets, is that greeting, is that being too nice to them. They don't want to be seen. They want to be really go past by you, and you without you realizing they are the work really relies on stealth. So the moment that you face them, if you go body worn cameras and you're, how can I help you, good morning, now the faces in the camera, more likely than not they're going to turn around and go. Very hard, and I understand it, very hard for the West End, because you get a constant influx of people that come in and out in a day, because it's like a business. They come in for a day and disappear, so very hard to see your face. But you do get your regulars and people that work in the businesses, security staff. You know the patterns. You know how the way they walk, the way they work in partners. It's always a 2 or 3. They get the distraction. You get someone that might be allowed to get the diversion, and you get the one that's doing the theft itself. So it's trying to target the things with a minimum requirement, which is being nice and say hello. And that really worked. It's been tested, and it's psychology of engagement, and they don't like it. For other offences, yeah, it might not work. For people like that, it's really worth it, and it really works. How you manage your incidents, when you report it, what support do you give to your staff? The expectations. So trying to, we are here to try and let you know how things are going to progress, and my unit is very honest about it. We don't sugarcoat it. We tell you what it is, or what from your side needs to be done better, so that we can secure a prosecution. So by all means, my contacts are going to be, I'm going to be listed, but probably most of you know who we are already. My Sergeant Will Davids, who is very known in the business world. And our Inspector Titus Halliwell, very people that are very, very keen, and we're a unit that really want to help you guys. We have regular meetings where we host the BIT meetings. We all the partners meetings in general, all together or one by one. We also have regular violence against staff meetings, and that's the platform for people to come to the meeting and say what's been happening, what you've done that have worked, what you've done that we haven't then followed up and it hasn't worked. So that's a right platform to talk about stuff, even vent a little bit of frustration, and then try to get and assess the situations and how we can move forward. Not going to really we're gonna be a Q&A, so better leave it for you to if you got any questions, then we can address them afterwards. But really nice talking to you, and we really are here to help, and we have a very good relationship with the West End partners and the officers. Very good communication. I sit on the Westminster sort of like senior leader team meetings where things are discussed and how things are going to be actioned and tackled. So business is very much in mind, and people they are aware, and it's all a case of how it's going to be resourced. And again, fantastic the job that Mr. Hunt is doing, and the team is going to be doing. I'm sure I know him from before, so they're very good, a very good person, a person that really cares. And hopefully there will be a change, and there will be there will be something that we could discuss in a few months' time to review the work that's been done. So, no further ado, so I'm going to pass you back to Akin, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Al. That was that's really insightful to hear a lot of the ways in which businesses can benefit from the business crime unit in the Met Police. So yeah, now we're going to move on to the Q&A. There has been 1 or 2 questions that have come through. If you still want to put some questions through, you're more than welcome to just before I finish. So I'll just read some of the questions out. Some of them are for me, some of them are for the Met Police. So I'll go through them now. So the first question I've been asked here is, how many security officers work during the daytime? So during the daytime, within the West End, there should always be at least 2 people within the centre, on Bond Street and on sort of Oxford Street and Regent Street. So 2 people on the east side and the west side of Oxford Street, and obviously on Regent Street and Bond Street as well. We have about 14 officers during the daytime, sort of on rotation, and we also have dog handlers as well. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question in that regard. The next question here is probably one for Dave, and the question is, how will the town centre team work to improve crime in the West End? So if you want to answer that one, Dave.
Good question. We've got, I should have said a little bit. So my teams are made up. I've got 3 town centre teams. We've got 2 inspectors. Each team has got 2 sergeants, and each team on paper has got 14 PCs. And at the moment, we're pretty much up to strength on 14 PCs. So we will look at trends and overnight crime. We are trying to work more towards identifying repeat offenders or venues that are being repeatedly targeted. As we've only been going 2 weeks, that is all in plan. So we've already picked up a couple of those investigations I mentioned. I know I'm getting a bit of an echo here, but we've picked up some of those investigations I mentioned, and we're working on another massive job where there's a group of an organised group of criminals that are repeatedly targeting the same venue. So where before those investigations would sit with our response team colleagues, we are now taking more of those ongoing and repeat venue jobs on, because we recognised that we weren't doing a good enough job before locally at Charing Cross and Westminster. So we are working with them. We've always had a good relationship with Akin and the guys from MWEC, but even more so now, where before we were mostly on nights, trying to get meetings with Akin and Jamie and the guys at MWEC and Safer Business Net was difficult. But we've got, like I said, we've got more resources in the West End during the week and at the weekends during the daytime than we've ever had before. That has had an impact on our night duty cover across the West End, but for you guys, it's better for you because we have got those resources in place when the crime is taken. As you've seen from some of my slides, the crime, the Westminster as a whole is responsible for so much of the reported crime nationally, and most of it is in West End ward where your businesses are situated, and we've recognised that. Al said I'm passionate, and he is right. I am passionate. I've been in the police a long time, but why should I pay more for my shopping because of the thefts that are going on? I want to tackle these people, and my teams they weren't forced to come with me. They wanted to come and work on this in the West End, this sort of crime in the West End. So we're all passionate. I've got some very good sergeants who are leading the teams, and we want to make a difference. So please reach out if there's anything I can do. I'll stop waffling on now. That was a long answer, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, thanks so much for answering that, Dave. And just to let everyone know, we also, I think during the sort of month of October, we're going to get some dates in for a breakfast with the Met Police as well, with the new town centre team. So you'll have an opportunity to sort of meet some of the police, and yeah. I think, yeah, we all share the same sentiment that the town centre team is going to have a drastic improvement. It should have a drastic improvement on the sort of crime and how the relationship works within the West End. So we're all looking forward to that partnership going forward. Another question here. So I believe this is probably one for me to answer. How can we get signed up to the alerts and protest emails? If you reach out to me directly, I'm more than happy to provide that information. If you'd like to get our alerts, because we usually have a lot of members signed up to our alerts, but we don't have everyone signed up, and it'd be the more people we can get on, the more we can let people know when things are happening within the district. There's been while I was talking, there was another question that's just come through. So I'll read this out. So most recently, we noticed a known individual has returned on Oxford Street. He's a street performer, illegally busking, known to the Met and NWIC. He generates noise pollution immediately outside the entrance, disturbing local businesses. How can this issue be tackled once and for all? And this has been going on for a couple of years now. So street performer, it could be, yeah, I'm just thinking here, it could be Michael Chimambo, I believe, who's someone that's well known to us. I probably should let the Met Police sort of chime in here if that's something that, because I imagine no names has been put here, but I imagine this may be something that's on your radar.
See, it's a difficult one for the Met Police, isn't it? You've probably all seen the incident a little while ago where one of our officers got in a bit of a dispute with a lady who was singing on Oxford Street, and it went viral. And we've got to be careful with who leads on these things. Now, you know, I want my team concentrating on crime, but I understand that ASB and noise pollution does affect businesses as well. In this instance, I'd suggest just emailing Akin or the team at NWEC with the details. And noise is normally a Westminster Council thing. We are forming better partnerships with Westminster City Council as well. We're already arranging some night operations with them to target pedicabs. You do get them up in Oxford Street, but not as much as down in and around Soho and Charing Cross, and some other street performers. So ideally that sort of thing is led on by the Westminster Council, but we will support them if there's obviously a risk to their staff or the person's aggressive. But please feed the details into NWEC, and we can work together and address it as a partnership with the council as well.
Yeah, well, I agree. Our street team usually, when we engage with these street performers, 9 times out of 10 they move on. They stop their performances. So as soon as you see this person, just let us know. There is someone that I mentioned before that was quite known to us, named Brian Chimambo, and he goes all around London with a massive speaker. That's one of the most prolific people I can think of, and he just makes a whole bunch of noise, and he dances around the speaker and stuff, and it causes a lot of disturbance to businesses. So we are aware of a lot of these things, and we do engage as soon as we see these things happening. You can give us a call, you can radio us, or you can send us an email or even WhatsApp. There's obviously different ways of getting in touch with us, but we're more than happy to expedite this and look at ways we can solve it. How can my store get more support from the Met Police, as we're always targeted by the same offenders?
The answer is, once if we know this person is, ideally we will pass it, you know, the message or the report will be reviewed by the local colleagues that hopefully and very likely they will know or the name of the suspect, and it could be circulated and then trying to get him in. The main factor here is to have good communication with the partners and the police. To even if someone is around, you call them call 999 if the person has been aggressive. But if you have communication already with the local officers, and they can make you aware, right, this person, keep an eye on this person is wanted, for example, because it's likely that this person probably on bail or they are offending while on bail, so they could be arrested straight away. So having that communication probably helps to minimize and make things a bit quicker, rather than just reporting or waiting for something to happen at a later time. But that's something, that's communication that could be established once you have meeting with person like Mr. Hunt, and there is that trust and that communication back and forth in a safe platform, in a controlled environment where you might know that someone is actually currently wanted, and that will be a different phone call. Okay, we know this person is a prolific offender, and I know he was wanted yesterday or the day before. The more likely someone to come around and try to apprehend him. But in general, it's a case of Also, it's something that I could it's a good question, because something that I've always been trying to really ask other businesses is, sometimes, and I'm going to say most, or I'm going to say sometimes, you actually know the name of the person, and and depending on what sort of like the data sharing agreement you have with the police, there is no reason why, if you have a certain platform or a certain reporting platform or intelligence platform, this alert, that there will be a name and a date of birth. So when you got someone, rather than saying, oh, such and such came, or these suspects, you actually say the name. So like, Joe Bloggs came to the store today. How do you know? Well, I know because this person is in our database. We know who it is. The police already established who this person is, and I'm sure that that's a person. That might take you to probably write statement to that account, which again is a different topic of how we can, if you've got questions on how we trying to help you to be able to provide statements and move forward to prosecute these people, by all means, we can. I can answer that question if you have it, but it's important that you provide that package. So the CCTV is there, the witness statements are on point, and that will help to apprehend these people and given more than just 1 or 2 offences. It's very likely that this person's probably been affecting other businesses. So by working in partnership and really having a good communication will assist the officers to, rather than putting one case together, have 15 offences, and that when people get done by a longer time, the sentences are a bit harsher. They can be like CBOs or criminal behaviour orders in place where they are not allowed to even enter a certain area. Just by doing that, they can be, police could be called, and they can be arrested for breach of that condition. So these things work only if we work together, and we can really accrue a vast amount of offences to be able to take the liberty of someone not to turn up again. And if they do, just by being there, even without doing anything, they could be arrested. But yeah, it's a bigger conversation that we can have offline, or you can ask, when we have our meetings, you can join with the business unit, and yeah, we can address it that way. But in the short answer is good communication with the local officers. They know who the people are. They will have an idea. But are these incidents reported or just being passed on? That's the difference. If it's just been mentioned but there's no report anywhere, there is really little that the local officers can do. So the reporting is massively important. Hopefully that sort of that answers your question.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for answering that, Al. That we definitely share that sentiment. We do find that the more the stores communicate with the Met Police, the more information they provide, the easier it makes their jobs in regards to getting these people off the street. And I think unfortunately there has been an apathy for some people to want to communicate and want to, because they don't see the point. But the thing is, the things that are impacting your store are also impacting all the other businesses within the district. And most of these people, when they commit these crimes and then nothing happens, there's no recourse to it. They're just going to come back. So the more we can communicate with the police and the better relationships we can build in that regard, the better better place we are to make the West End safer, essentially. That's everything. That's all the questions that we have, and that's everything from my end. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this webinar today. We've really appreciated you listening to us. And like we said, if you ever need any information and any details, obviously reach out to us. And yeah, enjoy your weekends and enjoy the rest of your days. Thank you so much, guys.